Hello, Pups here. Today I want to talk about TF2 or Team Fortress 2 in other languages. It's a topic that I feel gets overlooked quite a bit, and is actually pretty fascinating when you get digging into it. There's timestamps in the description for each subtopic we're going to cover. Let's begin by saying that people I know or have seen comment on the multilingual TF2 in their native language says that it's overall lackluster compared to the English version. With that, you have to admire the effort Valve put into dubbing it all, and the fact that some of the translations do have jokes or expressions that only people speaking that language would understand. So even if the voice acting is not the prettiest thing to exist, they did put effort into stretching their comical charm into other languages as much as they could. Now I'm going to tell you everything I know when it comes to languages in the game itself. Obviously, there's no way I can cover every single detail. Also, I've tried time and time again to find all the multilingual content, but it's so difficult. More on that later. When it comes to the game, you can actually get it available in quite a few languages, but the only ones we get actual dubs for is English, obviously, French, Spanish, German, and Russian. Those are the ones I want to mainly focus on, but before I go there, I do want to mention that changing the language changes most of the in-game text. Some of the languages look a little odd, mainly Japanese, where there's this hideous blend of Japanese and English. Also, Chinese doesn't have map names or the word Ubercharge in their symbols, but I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be, or broken, as many of the features in TF2 tend to be. Now we can get on to the actual spoken language of TF2, which is one of the most exciting things to me. As mentioned earlier, the languages with audio changes are English, German, French, Russian, and Spanish. It's hit and miss what's covered in each dub. One may have custom laughs or hit sounds for the characters, while another just recycles the English lines. Pyro is the only exception and literally never changes. And sometimes the characters forget which language they're speaking.
The count is supposed to move Doctor!
I have hunted for the multilingual voice lines online with no luck whatsoever. I don't know if I'm just not looking in the right places or if people just don't care enough to share it. I literally had to go into the game files myself to pull out all the individual clips. It would be cool to share all of them somehow, but there's a few I want to highlight later. I have also played the game using every dub. Typically I stick to English, but it's fun to change it every now and then to spice up the experience. My personal favorite is Russian, but that's mostly because it's a language I want to learn. If you change it to a language you want to learn too, you might be able to pick out different words. It's really interesting to play with, and I encourage you to give it a try. Who knows? You might end up really liking it, especially if you're a foreign culture enthusiast like me. Now that all that's been said, I'll show you some of my gameplay with the languages changed.
Don't kick Shopee.
Don't kick Shopee is nice.
No, he's lying.
No, he called me beautiful yesterday. I really appreciated that. Oh, no, my baby.
Отходите от нее! Попробуй меня прогнать! Мы получили дополнительное время.
So you probably noticed that there are quite a few differences from the English. I'm not going to sit here and go over every single thing, but there are a few specific voice lines I want to bring attention to. It's mostly Spy because haha, Spy main, and I notice his changes the most. The best, and I mean absolute best thing, is that the French Spy is actually American. The most notable thing is the
Oh my god!
Every time I hear it, I am filled with absolute life. There's just something magical about him screaming, "Oh my god!" in English. Even though that's technically what he's saying normally in French. Perspective works funny like that. The other funny Spy line I was able to pick out is that he literally says gracias so violently in the French dub. Like, just imagine everyone shouting in a sea of French, then this dude just out here like, gracias! It fills me with life. It really does. Some classes have a unique laugh for each language. Some of them are cringy, but some of them are pretty good too. And thanks to a Christmas gift to myself, I bought the Schadenfreude, I hope I said that right, taunt, so I can make my little spy snort on demand. Only in French. He doesn't snort. Literally, one of the cutest things this man does was stripped away and... And that's another reason I prefer the Russian dub. As you might have suspected, I think that Heavy's Russian dub is also extremely fitting for him. I'm not sure how native speakers would rate his voice acting, but I can personally see him chilling with his sisters and telling them off like this.
Тележка наш друг! Навестим товарища!
It's really great. Last thing I want to point out is that Demoman sounds extremely strained in most of the dubs, but I find that oddly fitting too.
Quédate en el punto de las narices, idiota!
It's like he's yelled so much that his vocals are just constantly screeching for help, like they've given up. Which is really fitting, given that 98.63% of his English voice lines are yelling. Except the few times he talks about Soldier being his mate in arms and his drunken rants, both of which are adorable, by the way. Now on to video dubs from Valve. Boy, is this interesting. First thing I want to say is that I have been unable to find the Meet the Team videos anywhere off of YouTube, and it's super hit and miss which ones are there. Meet the Medic or Pyro is strangely not dubbed at all from what I can tell, unless it's a fan dub of course. Then ones like Meet the Demoman and Engineer may be available in one language but not another. And there isn't a French dub of Meet the Spy, which is extremely depressing. And it doesn't make sense that Valve would dub some and not others, so I'm assuming that it's because people don't care enough to share it, or they aren't allowed for whatever reason. Both of which are super sad, but it is what it is. Also, there seems to be no official dubs for promotional videos. With all that being said, the part that fascinates me the most is that these dubs are actually lip-synced to match whichever language. Like, look at this.
I see the briefcase is safe.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me, did anyone happen to kill a red spy on the way here? No? Then we still have a problem.
Ooh, big problem. I killed plenty of spies. The dime a dozen backstabbing scumbags. Like you. Ow. No offense.
If you managed to kill them, I assure you they were not like me. And nothing like the man loose inside this building.
What are you, president of his fan club?
No. That would be your mother.
That means that Valve rendered a version of each Meet the Team video in each language. That alone really impresses me in all honesty. Like, I've animated my own SFMs, and I know how much time it takes to make lip sync look good. Major kudos to whoever had the time and the heart to add that detail. Another thing in the Meet the Team videos, like I mentioned earlier with the in-game voice lines, is that even though the voice acting isn't as good as the English ones by most standards, recognition still needs to be given to the people translating it. They added in a few expressions and such that only people who speak that language or know that culture would understand. And it kind of shines a new light on the characters in a way. The first example that comes to mind is the Spanish version of Meet the Sniper.
Primero es una enfermedad y lo otro es una profesión. Te seré sincero, a mis padres no les hacen ni gracia.
I thought it was weird that he got beeped out while talking in the van, so of course I ran to my Mexican friend and asked him what sniper said. Turned out it was a Spanish expression that isn't able to be translated perfectly into English. But whereas in the English version he said, "My parents do not care for it," in relation to his job as a mercenary, the Spanish version almost literally says, "My parents told me to screw myself." Only it's not the word screw in this context. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure there are other culture-specific things like this hidden within each Meet the Team video, but unfortunately, I don't have enough multilingual friends who can make such connections for me. The last thing in regard to the videos that I want to point out is how much Spy's voice drops at the end of his Meet the Team video.
My petit chou-fleur.
Like, that's illegal. They massacred my boy. I hope that at some point the other multilingual Meet the Team videos rise up to the surface. Heck, if there's dubs of promotional videos, especially expiration date, then I need to know. But until then, this is all we've got, and it's really cool stuff. Well, that's all I got today. I hope you enjoyed learning about this, and definitely check into it yourself if you're interested. Let me know your findings and thoughts in the comments. Other than that, I hope you have a blessed day and keep being awesome.